So today we're looking at area and circumference of a circle. All right, so for the first example, it says find the area given the radius. Okay, so here is the formula for the area of a circle. Please make sure you write it down. That says area is equal to pi r squared. Okay, that's not TT, that's pi. So it could, sometimes you'll see it look like this, right? Now, you write your formula, then you're going to write your substitutions. You're going to fill in what you know, and then you're going to simplify. So it's formula, substitution, and then simplify to get your answer, okay? So, we have pi. You guys know what the number pi is? 3.14 and so forth, right? But we're just going to round it to the nearest hundredth, so we're just going to say 3.14. Very good. So, we've got 3.14 times the radius, which is 24. Very good. You guys know what the definition of the radius is? Okay. Okay, so I forgot to talk about the vocabulary, so let's just write down the definition of the radius. Now see, the radius goes from this center point all the way to the edge of the circle. The radius is the distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. So I want you to write that definition down, and I want you to draw that picture, okay? So once you get that, then we'll go back to our problem. When we go back to our problem here, we have pi times 24, which is the radius, squared. What am I going to do first in that expression to simplify it? So we are going to simplify the exponent first. So when we do that, on your calculator, you're going to type in 24, and then you're going to press that x squared button. All right, so we get 576. So that's part of our simplifying. So we're going to write 3.14 times 576. And now we're going to simplify that by multiplying 576 times pi. So go ahead and do that. Look up here. Whoopsie. All right, so that gives us 1,808. Let's finish this up. 1,808.64. What are my units going to be? Let me just finish this. So this is going to be feet squared. Now, what if I asked you to round to the nearest tenth? What number is in the tenth place? The 6 is in the tenths place, right? So that means the number next, the 4, is going to tell me what to do. It's going to tell me either go up, now go down, stay the same. Very good. So what does it tell me to do? Very good. So my final answer then is 1,808 point what? 0.6, and don't forget your units, feet squared. All right, so I want to do a little side note explaining why the units are units squared. Okay, so do I have any units on pi? No, no unit, right? How about r? Does r have a unit? Feet, right? So when I have this, I'm going to have pi, and radius squared is radius feet, right? R feet, right? So this is going to be times r feet, right? And since I'm squaring it, that means it's going to be r times itself. You with me? So this is going to be times another r feet. You with me? So that's going to be pi times radius, that's feet times feet, which is feet squared. So here we want to find the area given the diameter. So the diameter is the distance across a circle through its center. Make sure you write down that definition and draw your diagram. So now we've written our formula, right? Pi r squared. Okay? And now we're going to substitute what we know. So once again, we know that pi is equal to 3.14. Thank you. Okay, so pi is equal to 3. Oops. All right, so pi is equal to 3.14. 3.14. Now here, the formula calls for the radius, but they gave us the diameter. How do I find that radius? So we're just going to cut that 50 in half, or we're going to divide by 2. Very good. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. So that is what we're going to use for our formula. Is everybody clear how we got that? Okay. So now we're going to put 25 in there, and we're going to square that. Okay. So now we're going to use our calculator to help us simplify. What am I going to do first? 25 squared, right? All right, so 25 squared is 625. So now we're going to multiply 625 times pi, or 3.14, and what does that give us? Very good. So we've got 1,962.5. And we don't have to round to the nearest tenth because it's already to the nearest tenth, right? What are my units going to be? Feet squared. Very good. So we write feet squared. Now don't forget that you're not going to write 1,962.5 squared. If you do that, your answer is wrong. Okay? You have to make sure you put the units and square the units, not the main number. You got it? All right. So that is finding the area given the diameter. So the next example is the circumference of a circle. Okay, so write down your direction. We want to find the circumference of the circle. Draw your diagram and write your formulas. Okay, so the definition of the circumference is the distance around the circle. Please make sure you write your definition and draw your diagram. I want you to notice that there are two formulas for circumference. This first one is circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Over here, this is circumference is equal to pi times diameter. But if you look at it, they're actually the same formula, right? Because we said that the radius is half of the diameter. So if I multiplied the radius times 2, doesn't that give me the diameter? Yes. Yeah. So they're actually the same formula, just in different format. Is everybody clear? You just need to choose which one you're going to use based on what you're given. So if I look at this diagram, what did they give us? The radius or the diameter? They gave us the radius. So which formula would you use? I would use the first one. You got it? So you wrote down both formulas, but we're just going to use the first one, right? So there's our formula. Now we're going to substitute what we know. So that's going to be 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 45. Okay? Now, let's talk about units for a second. We want to know, is it going to be inches or is it going to be inches squared? Okay? So, let's take a look. Okay? So, do I have any units on 2? No units on 2? Any units on pi? No. Any units on 45? We have inches, right? So, how many times am I going to multiply inches? Just once, right? Not like the other one, we multiplied feet times feet, right? Here, we're only going to multiply inches once. So, that means that units is just going to be just plain old inches. Is everybody clear? All right. So now, let's simplify. So we just use our calculator to help us simplify. So that's 2 times pi, 3.14, times 45. And what does that give you?
282.6.
Very good. 282.6. And we don't have to round to the 10th because it's already at the 10th. And our units will be inches. Is everybody clear?